My name is Sam Craven and welcome to the Garagisti. Now, on this channel, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. Everything from technical how-to articles to little know-how about things going on in the shop, as well as full-on restorations. Now, I have a very, very special project for you right out of the gate for our very first video. It could be this incredibly sexy 1979 original Mini, or what we have here is an original 6-speed V10 manual transmission Audi R8 that is absolutely perfect. But it's not that. It could be this 1979 complete resto mod 911 SC, or this Lotus Evora 400R, or one of my personal favorites, as you guys will learn, I love Porsches. This is an actually modified 911 turbo, making, I want to say around 650 horsepower. Awesome car, carbon brakes, center lock wheels, absolute beast. Or we could go really, really old, like this 1959 Mercedes 220E. I love this car. One of the things I love about this car is the fact that it's a 4-speed manual transmission actually on the tree. So 3 pedals and you shift by going like this. But I've got a treat in store for you, because the first project car that we actually have, we've dubbed the Marshmallow. Now this car came to us under dubious circumstances, but I'm gonna let the pictures do the talking here. So without further ado, welcome to our 2008 E90 M3 sedan. Now this is a rare car, stay with me. Now not just medium rare because it's been torched, but it's a rare car because right here, we don't have a sunroof. And it's a rare car because we have fox red interior. But then if you circle the camera back around, you actually look in there, and it doesn't even have the iDrive system, so there's no nav. Look at this thing, look at it. This is a rare car. So this is gonna be our very first project car. Now yes, it did get a little hot. As you can see, a fire has clearly started underneath this vehicle. But what we're gonna do, as you guys follow along, is we're gonna restore this vehicle, not just back to running, but back to perfect. And what we'll eventually be doing is taking this car out to the racetrack. I absolutely love this car. Anyone who's known me at all knows that we built a car here at the Garagisti that was actually in Road and Track magazine. It was an E90 M3 wagon. It's the only one in the world, Interlagos blue, and we did it so faithfully, restored so faithfully to the original specs of what BMW should have built that car to, that they put us in a magazine. But this old girl right here, probably not going to be a magazine car, but I'm sure hoping you guys will enjoy the process as we take this thing from medium rare to absolutely perfectly well done. So you might be asking the question of, how did we get here? How did the car wind up this beautiful, what is this, Alpine white, I think is the color that these cars are in? How did this beautiful Alpine white turn into a nice toasted marshmallow? Well, I've got a bit of a story for you. So Tien takes the car out to the racetrack, he's running hot laps, and he winds up driving off track. Now, anyone who's ever been to a track day has driven off track, but especially after the freeze that we just had, there's a lot of dead grass. And so you combine dead grass with 1200 degree catalytic converters, and it wound up catching the grass on fire. So it caught the grass on fire, and this car, as beautiful as they are, they have some plastic fuel lines. Plastic fuel lines bust, caught the underside of the car on fire, and what we have now is this beautiful, rare E90 M3, 6-speed manual transmission, fox red interior, poverty pack, no sunroof, Project Marshmallow. first time doing a project like this for the Garagisti, but here's what you can expect as these videos go on. We're going to be showing you step by step how we're going to restore this vehicle. We'll show you all the different things that we learn along the way. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that we think we know about this that we don't. Hopefully it doesn't wind up being too expensive. Hopefully I can figure out how to open this hood. But I just wanted to show you guys just how mint this thing looks. So as you can see underneath the hood, there's really not a whole lot going on here that we're gonna have to mess with. However, when it comes to the exterior, we got a little bit more work ahead of us. Since the fire started underneath the car, a lot of our paint here has yellowed. We don't know if we can get any of that yellowing off yet, but definitely these rocker panels are done, and you can see there's a little bit of yellowing here on the door. Also, this interior needs a lot of work. So as you guys can see, a fire extinguisher was used on this thing. And when you use a fire extinguisher, especially one of these powder fire extinguishers, the shit gets everywhere. So that's what we're gonna have to clean. We hope a lot of this stuff cleans off and we don't actually have any damage to our leather upholstery. We also have a radio that we need to install in here and check out. Now, one of the things that we did on this vehicle is we went ahead and scanned it for any codes. All the codes that we see is stuff that's not terribly surprising, but let's go look at the underside of this car so you can see exactly where all the bad damage is. Alright guys, so this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is the opportunity that you're going to have to actually see how much damage was done when this car caught on fire at the racetrack. So follow me under here and I'll show you a little bit about what we're working with here and how much work we have ahead of us. So right here, I'm kind of standing in the middle of the car. Right above me is the gas tank. Here's the cross member. And then you can start seeing here how bad some of the damage is. Now, like I said before, the best as we can tell is he drove off track. And when he drove off track, he stopped right on the grass. And that's what actually caught the car on fire. Now, it caught on fire and there's a plastic vapor line that runs from the front all the way to the back. That vapor line doesn't exist, it's not even here. But on top of that, you can see this line right here. This is actually the fuel pressure line. So this is the line that actually goes from the gas tank up to the engine. And this line, which if you'll zoom in right here and see, turns into a plastic line right here. Would you know it, the plastic line is no longer there. So this line broke and then started to spray fuel and they were able to put the fire out. But it looks to me like the fire actually started on the driver's side. So if we come up in here and look, right here is about where we expected that it actually started, and right over here is actually, you can't see it, it's just off camera, is the skid plate that was here, and there was a bunch of grass and things over there. So this right here is the catalytic converter. These run at about 1200 degrees, especially when you're running off track or running on track really, really hard. A little bit of grass got on there, they caught on fire, and actually this green stuff you see here is the powder from the fire extinguishers having melted. So, and as you see up here, we're going to work at the front and work our way back as far as everything that was damaged. And this here is your tire pressure monitor receiver. So you have these on the car. They actually have the things that read your tire pressure monitors. Nice and toasty. All your brake lines run right here. All the plastic that actually holds it in place is all nice and melted. And then you see as well, there's actually body holes and mounting holes that have all melted off. So all this stuff needs to get replaced. So here on the passenger side of the vehicle, you can actually see where there's a lot of sound deadening material that's here, windage trays, whatever it is you want to call it. All of this stuff is in really bad shape. We're gonna have to find replacements for this. And as we continue to move closer to the front of the car, you can see it gets pretty bad, all the way up even to here, the puck, jack point, whatever it is you want to call it, that's plastic here is nice and melted. Now, I'm standing here up below the transmission, and there's actually a transmission pan that was here as well. You can see here on the ground, this piece here was the original part that was on the car. We went ahead and took it off so we can get a better look at what was going on underneath that transmission. So if you come back up here and you look, you can see this is where a lot of our expensive damage actually took place. All the O2 sensors are burned. This here is the connector for the transmission fluid pump for the manual transmission on this car. The harness is burned up. These plastic pipes right here are just simply not to be trusted. Actually, that might be metal. Doesn't matter. Not going to trust them. But we're really lucky with this car because BMW has a part number for just the transmission harness. So we're going to be able to get a whole new harness and order all new sensors for this vehicle, and this transmission is going to be in good shape. Now, we can't see on top of the transmission. We don't know everything that's going on in there, but stay tuned and we're going to learn a little bit more about this car, and hopefully we're going to be in good shape and not have to replace this transmission or any more sensors on this car. But we've gone ahead and we've ordered all the sensors that we need for this and that transmission harness, that sub harness. So hopefully with that, we're going to be in good shape. So not only is there fire damage on this vehicle, but there's also some stuff on this vehicle that needed to be fixed before it had the fire. So this car was actually in our shop the day before it caught fire. We did some track prep on it, and we noted a few things that the car needed. And so let's talk about that, because we're going to have to address those issues as well. On this car, you can kind of see right here, there's a bit of an oil drip. So this thing needs actually a steering rack. It needs valve cover gaskets, and it also needs an oil cooler and the oil cooler lines for the transmission. You can see the engine oil cooler here, right here, but there's actually one up here in the fender well that we need to change out. So that's another thing that's on our list. The parts are on order and on the way here. So as you can see, guys, this car has really been to hell and back. Literally, it's caught on fire. And we're really looking forward to restoring this car, getting it back 100%, going to hit the racetrack, and showing you what we're capable of here. So as you can see, guys, we really have our work cut out for us on this thing. It has been absolutely torched. As I'm working back more towards the back of the car, you've probably noticed that there's no exhaust here. We've actually already taken the exhaust off. Tien wanted to keep that, so we let him hold on to it. We actually have a new exhaust that's right here on the ground, and by new I'd mean really just new to us. So it's going to get a new exhaust, and at the same time, one of the things that needed to be done previously, before the car actually caught on fire, was actually this rear bumper. So if you see, the bumper's been cut, it's kind of flimsy right here, not exactly what we want, and since we want to bring this thing all the way back to its former glory, we're going to go ahead and put a new rear bumper on this thing. So stay tuned, guys. Really looking forward to showing you guys what we can do and getting this thing turned around.